Hey, there we are. All right.
Hello.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Weekday Wisdom or Rant Town, whatever you want to call it. So, happy y'all are here tonight. We actually got Anthony Morella to join us again this week. He was on the Weekend Wisdom, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And Jay hit me up the other day, I think, and asked me if I wanted Anthony to come on. And I said, of course I want Anthony to come on. So, but it's great to have you, man. Thanks for coming on with us. And we can go ahead and start off the buffet.
Oh, okay. I don't have a whole lot tonight. So I got my old trusty one, my Tesla 220 with the Falcon tank, just because it's a Falcon tank. I mean, that's just really the bottom line. Doing a little old school in that today. Doing a little millionaire with the
Ooh.
mango.
Oh,
Old
nice.
bottle that I had of this. So I'm just kind of a I like millionaire quite a bit, so I usually keep a bottle around. I actually have my Alpha One with that fat fish from Vapem, I guess is what it would be, but it looked like Vape AM to me, so I had to have it. So running that on there. That's got obviously the shirt today, but Sad Boy in that the Shamrock
Hey.
cookie. Um, I do have still have this old school thing kicking around since the last time I brought it out here. It's a Atlantis Mega with the bubble glass on it and the H600 watt. It just looks ridiculous, but that's why I keep it around. And that's got Cloud Nerds in it. That grape strawberry flavor. That's really good. And this is about as close to a pod system as I get. Print stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's got that sucker punch in it. This is the rainbow berry punch. We don't actually sell this at our stores. I got this as a sampler, but man, that is a really, really good flavor. And
Hold on.
that is the amount of my buffet this evening.
Hold on just a second. They say they're not getting anything.
Oh, well, that's terrible.
I think they're getting us now.
Logan said I got nothing.
Okay, so we're good now.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
All right.
So, Jay, go ahead.
So I got the unicorn RDA with the Turk tip on there on top of my new black NATO. Loving this thing. Only had it for a day.
Is
Inside that, I got some Cinnaroo strawberry. It's
is
pretty
the
good. It's
is
not
the
too bad.
is the ball bearing silver on that one too?
Yeah, this one's silver instead of gold.
Oh,
But the
okay.
gold one on, well, actually, I'll show this one next. Got the gold one, but I think the gold's kind of wearing off somewhat
Yeah.
on that one. Sure. I got the Turk V2 with the, with this light. Turk V2 with the Stay Gold chop top from DHD on the brass NATO. And inside that, I got a liquid for vaping. And then I got the Goon 25 with a sparkle maple drip tip on top of the LE Dreamer. And inside that, I got a liquid for vaping also, the peach tea lemonade. And then I got my Ardent with the Inferno tip on top of the Red Dreamer. And inside that, I got some Breakfast Club corn drops because I ran out of all my Turk liquids. And that's kind of close to it. Not all the way close, but it's a little close.
Yeah. All
But
right.
that's
All right. Well, mine hasn't changed up much. I got one different thing. Got the Unity on the Shogun in there. I've got the pink from Ends Game. I've got the Dreamer with the black dead goat with the DHD chop top and the constant contact
Man, that
button.
looks good.
In there, I got my Parade Maker from IVC. Let's see, that was
mm,
the hazelnut toffee sugar cookie.
I just ordered some of that
Yeah,
today, actually.
and I've got my Matchy Matchy Ardent Dreamer, red on red. And in there, I've got the Cloud Nerds watermelon. Wait a minute. Yeah, strawberry lemon. Sorry. And of course, I've got my Overlord with the Drop Dead, with the, of course, Shamrock Cookie all day. And then big lunch, the Asgard on the King, and in there, still rocking the PB party. I've been
Nice.
I've been milking that. Like I'll leave it at home and only vape it when I'm here, and so I know it'll last me longer. So, but
Those cloud nerd flavors are all really good.
yeah,
They're all really good. I haven't tried a bad one yet. So.
yeah. And I've got my Caliburn floating around here with some mint in there. But that's all I've got. But what we want to talk about tonight is I want to start this off with a question for both of you guys. Now, Anthony, I don't know if you have kids. Do you have kids?
I do have a son.
Okay. So we know that in Michigan, their taxes for tobacco was either came out to 9 million or 9 billion. I can't remember which one it was per year. So, what I want to ask you and people in chat, uh, if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I will give you this go on the low end. I'll give you this $9 million, but you can have it, no tax, no nothing, but you'll never see your child graduate from high school." What would you do?
I would politely refuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I believe everybody would. But that's what they're doing in Michigan. They're taking their $9 million and not caring if the people are still smoking and the people are dying. The 480,000 people a year that die in the U.S. Now, I'm not saying all of those are from Michigan. I know it's throughout the entire country. But you take 480,000. Hold on. Let's just take it by the state. I didn't do this before.
480, so it'd be about
So
almost
they're
like 90,000.
yeah. 480. 480,000 divided by 50. That's 9,600. So they're taking their 9 million or $9 billion for 9,600 lives. How dare you, Michigan, to say that?
No, absolutely. Just paying for death.
To say that $9 million is worth 9,600 lives from your state. That crawls all over me. And then now, of course, you have Illinois on the bandwagon. They're like, "Oh, Michigan did it. They jumped off the bridge. Hell, let's go." You
Hear
know?
about New York?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I saw that, but I didn't read all the way through it.
Two different things. Well, Yonkers is pushing the same flavor ban crap that Michigan's doing.
Yeah.
And Michael Bloomberg is offering up several $100 million. I think it was 186 million or something like that to just ban it across the country.
Yeah. And
he's never been a friend of ours ever.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I mean, ban it across the country and let another 480,000 people die. I'm
going to give you a little preview to my tomorrow morning show, since you're doing calculations, because of what tomorrow is. And I didn't want to show any disrespect with this whatsoever. But there are about 3,000 people that died on 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
The average aircraft carries about 300 people, okay, give or take. So 4 airplanes a day could fall out of the sky, kill all of the passengers aboard, and it still wouldn't do as much as cigarettes do in the air every day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you imagine living in a world where 4 airplanes fell out of the sky every day, 365 days a year?
That's just crazy. That's
when
crazy.
You start thinking in those concepts of that, to measure it against something else, and to think, would airplanes be legal? What kind of restrictions would they put on something like that? And it still wouldn't be as much as cigarettes kill every day. It sends chills down your spine to even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, cigarettes kill more people in 3 days than died in 9/11.
Yep.
Every 3 days, same amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted people to see that in perspective. How you guys both probably remember where you were when that happened. How old were you guys in 2001?
I was in second grade, I believe, and I left school early. Actually, I remember all that happened.
Wow.
You're some young bucks.
I was 24 at the time, so I was working.
Oh, thank God for that. Okay. I was at a used car selling conference where they teach you how to sell used cars.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that, but it's just one of those things where most people don't forget where they were that day.
Oh yeah, I remember I was doing electrical work, and we had a radio going at the work site, and we just stopped because one of the ladies that cleaned up after us, she came running over there and said a plane just hit the towers. And so we
Right.
just all stopped and went over to the radio and listened. So we were actually listening when the second one hit.
Dang.
I wasn't trying to derail the conversation for a
Oh
minute.
no,
Just,
no. I mean
it's on my mind because it's for tomorrow. So
it's a great point because a lot of these governors and uh, legislators, anybody in that realm, they will take the information that's given to them, not do any research about it, and just roll with it. This is what my people want, so that's what I'm going to roll with. What these people have to do, and this is all legislators. I don't care if you're a governor, if you're a mayor, hell, if you're a constable, it doesn't matter to me. You have people that depend on your decisions, not just antis, not just rich people. You have rich, poor, middle class that live in every demographic of this country. And they have to take into account all those people. So in my mind, here's exactly what anybody in that situation needs to do. Matter of fact, this is what I would do if I was an elected official of any kind. If somebody came to me and said, "Here is this issue. Here's what's going on. We need to take care of it." Okay, I'm going to take that information and I'm going to give it to my most trusted person on my staff, anybody that I know, the most trusted person I have, and say, find every bit of information on this that you can and bring me facts. Don't bring me he said, she said. Don't bring me this person told me this. No, I just want sentence by line by line. I want the fact of exactly what you find. If you find two different conflicting stories of the same account, I want that too. Because then I can go and I can dig deeper and I can actually find which one of these two is true or which one has more truth to it. And that brings up another point that I was thinking about. Whenever we get to that, I don't know if Anthony may be old enough. Jay's probably not old enough to remember when you played the whisper game when we were kids. You would have a line of, we played it at school, so you'd have a line of 15 or 20 people. Well, the person on this end would start and they would whisper something in the person next to him's ear. Well, by the time it got to the other end of the line, it was something completely different. You could say, hey, the blue car had a goat in the back seat. And by the time it got to the end of the line, hey, the blue guy had a goat horn in his 74 Duster. It'd be something completely different. There'd be a few details that were right. They said something about blue. They said something about a car. They said something about a goat. You get this little sliver of fact. And they get that little sliver of fact and they hold on to it like it's the best thing they've ever seen and they run with it. I don't know about you guys, but anything that I'm going to sign my name to, and I think every politician needs to think about this, anything that I'm going to put my name on, I'm going to know every fact about it that I can before my name goes on.
Yeah, I feel like that they really rely on someone to do the research, kind of like you said, but it's not as in depth as what you said. And then they kind of just say, okay, well, yeah, it's close enough. Well, what'd you find on it? Like they're just like, hey, well, go find research. Okay, what'd you find on it? Okay, let me see the bill. It's not really like, okay, you got the research, let me see the research. And then it falls back on, I feel like politicians do this a lot. And it falls back on where they're kind of like, oops, we'll just wait this one out type of thing. Or, oh, we kind of messed up on that. And I feel like they fall back on that too much where they think that they're more superior than other people and think that they can just, oh, okay, well, yeah, we made a mistake. We kind of ruined a year or two out of maybe a whole bunch of people's lives, but we made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Well, yeah, everyone does, but if you would have took the time to do the research, you wouldn't have made that mistake. And that's the thing that really irritates me is them not actually doing the right research, or them, like whenever I called Michigan, I talked to her secretary, like I talked about on the last weekend wisdom with Anthony and Shane. She said, "Oh well, or no, I think I talked about it on there with Logan. Yeah, it was with whenever we're on Logan's show.
Yeah.
Whenever they were kind of like, oh yeah, well we know it's from the black market stuff. That's not why we're doing it. We know people are getting hospitalized because of that, not because of a nicotine product. But then yet she goes on the air whenever someone's asking her questions in the news, and she says, well, yeah, this is hospitalizing people. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The delivery system is vaping, and that's the whole reason. Like on my what the fuck Michigan
Yeah.
video I put out. The whole reason why I put that out, and someone put it in the chat. Oh well, he said at 10 minutes 30 seconds, I highly disagree. You are wrong, because vaping is so many different things. To me, and now this is why everything is subjective. All my videos, everything I say is subjective to what I believe in. You might have different beliefs. Everyone in the world has different beliefs, and we all have to respect those. And I'm fine with respecting politician beliefs on vaping or whatever it is. But what he said is that vaping is so many different things. A lot of it is like inhalers. You can use it for THC, CBD, a bunch of different things. And I understand that, but in my mind, vaping is a harm reduction nicotine product, and that's what it is in my mind. It's the top of the top line of an NRT. It makes NRTs look like little girls, little wimpy girls, and then this big old bodybuilder comes in and he's a vape. That's what I see whenever I see a vaping, not all the other things it could be used for. Now, it could be used for later on down the road, where they were talking about how it could be a way to be able to get pain medicine to someone even quicker and in their system so much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still don't consider that vaping. I don't consider an inhaler vaping, even though it's the same thing, except for you're not heating, you're just it's aerosol.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff could be considered as one thing of vaping. Vaping is just a nicotine product. A nicotine product that is 95% safer for someone to use, and it's a harm reduction product.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what vaping is. And this has been on my mind for a while about, okay, well, yeah, well, this and that. I mean, to me, it's just, that's vaping. And the thing I talked about the politicians, that's on for a while, where it's like, how is your secretary more knowledgeable than you on this? Is she the one who did the research? And then it's like, you're making yourself look like an idiot because you're having all these people call in. And I know I'm not the only vapor who's calling in from out of state or in state, but they're saying all this. Okay, we understand, we know, but it's all about the kids. Okay, we understand, we know, but it's all about the kids. And then you get on the air with the interview, and you're like, oh, well, hey, well, it's because it's putting people in the hospital, and then there's so many kids doing it. Well, yeah, your statistics are wrong, first of all. Just one time, like, oh, hey, let me try this, and just, oh, yeah, I didn't like that. That's considered you as a vapor, as a teen, as an underage teen. That's BS. Because Grim pulled up the daily users, the weekly users, and all of that. And I mean, if you would look at that statistic, you're probably like, okay, we don't have nothing on our hands. The real epidemic is, oh, well, the water in Flint, Michigan, which I'm not even gonna get on that topic, but you want to sit there and you want to go sign a bill for better gun laws and everything, but you're still not worrying about the water in your damn state. Yeah. Where it's killing people because the pipes are still made of lead and there's lead getting into there. I mean, hell, I wouldn't even want to shower with that. I mean, there's some dirty ass water in Texas where whenever you shower in it, your skin gets dried out real bad. And at my work, it's the same way. That's why I don't shower at work. That's why I only wash my hands and I can feel it on my hands. It's gross. But then yet you have people in Flint, Michigan who can sit there and they can turn on their water hose and they can light a match and put it next to it and then it flames up. Yeah, that's just absolutely crazy.
That's scary.
How do you not see that as something, but yet we'll just act like we don't see this. If someone put a sign over this big old hole in the wall, just put a sign over it. I mean, that's what I did if I made a hole in my wall, I'm putting a poster over it real quick. Oh crap, my mom's gonna beat me. Put a poster over it so we don't see it, but then we'll just worry about the other stuff. No, worry about what you need to worry about first. Don't try to go and tackle other things like this vaping epidemic that they say. And then now they're saying that there is a gun law epidemic where they're saying, oh, well, we have too lenient gun laws. You're your own state, make your own laws. But to me, vaping, guns, whatever it is, as a human, you have your own rights. Don't take everyone's rights away just because you're stubborn and you don't want to look at the real facts. Guns don't kill people. Just like I said on my video, guns don't kill people. Ban idiots, don't ban guns. Ban idiots, don't ban vaping. Ban bad parents, don't ban vaping. It's that simple. Enforce the damn law. They're sitting there and they want to, oh, well, this and that. Oh, well, yeah, we know that we can't really enforce it that well. Oh, but we're going to up it to 21. Okay, you couldn't enforce it at 18 anyway. They didn't even do that to try to say, okay, we're making an effort. They just said, screw it, we can't enforce it. We suck at this. Our police, they're pretty much saying that their police force sucks. And I'm not saying that their police force does, but that's what they're pretty much saying. They're making their police force look like crap because they're pretty much saying that they can't do nothing about it. And then they're also saying that, hey, we can't do anything about it because we can't go to all the convenience stores and tell them, hey, quit selling to underage teens, or else we're going to fine you for your tobacco license or anything like that. It's just like, how's this all add up? Like, why are you going to keep saying that we're going to do this, but yet we already have laws in place? Well, I always talk about this. Quit trying to put laws just to put a Band-Aid over another law that didn't work. Enforce the laws that we already have in place. We don't need millions of laws. 100 laws is fine, or 200 or 1,000, whatever. But then once, okay, well, 18 didn't work. Let's put a Band-Aid over that one, say 21. What makes you think that that does anything different besides the people who actually care and who are actually checking it? The people who don't care, they're still gonna be like, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
He looked 21. No, you just simply check their ID. They don't have it on them, tell them, oh, sorry, sucks. Oh, it's in your car? Okay, well, go ahead and get it. Oh, you live right down the road. Go ahead and get it and come back. I'll hold the product for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just annoying that politicians can't open their eyes and really look at true facts. They have to sit there and they have to make up BS and say this and that. It's just annoying. I mean, politicians are an enemy of mine, I guess you could say. I really despise that they can't actually do their own research or have someone do research for them and then they take it home and they actually look at it. I guarantee you, if I went over to their house and I looked at their stack of papers, it's probably underneath everything. They probably didn't even look at it. I mean, hell, you could tell if someone looked at something. They would have notes next to it. They would have stuff highlighted or something. I guarantee you can't get any of that out of them because they never looked at it. They had someone else look at it for them. An unreliable source look at it and pull up probably some BS stuff that, like, she already pulled up, like what she already said. Oh, well, they're getting formaldehyde and nickel and all these other metals. Well, yeah, if I took this vape right here and I burned it to where the cotton was white and there was no more liquid on it, I kept holding it down and I kept vaping on this, of course I would get something. Just like your grill, whenever your grill gets hot enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no crap, you're going to get sick off of that, or you could get harmed, or you could find stuff in that because you don't have a liquid on there. If you're using a product the wrong way, then of course you're going to find something wrong with it. That's with anything in life. Rant is over right now.
Well, I've never seen so much law and so much regulation be passed without any kind of scientific fact. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, we know what the science is, and they just continue to pass like flavor bans and all these other things with no backing whatsoever from the scientific community. Because if they had it, they'd be toting it like crazy. It's one of those things they definitely would be doing with that. I wanted to go back just a couple of things that you were talking about. Number one, like using that verb of vaping. I was thinking of a headline in my mind. It's like that stabbing at local restaurant leaves a bloody mess. And that's the headline. Okay, and you're going to think at the beginning that somebody got stabbed when somebody in the kitchen just stabbed a piece of meat in the kitchen and dropped it on the floor, and the blood out of the package just went everywhere. It's just all about that headline and how people are going to react to it from the beginning.
Yeah.
The other thing is, how did you guys like that little? I don't know, the emergency rules and all that. Were you guys able to take a look at that at all?
I read through some of it, and I think I already told you this, Anthony, too. I was like, don't ever send me stuff like that again. I will smash my laptop. Because after every paragraph, I was like, okay, there's something in this that's bullshit. I don't know what it is, but there's something in here that's BS on every paragraph. So I'd read one paragraph, I would go Google it. And then I would, of course, look for the studies that are done by actual physicians and stuff like that, not the ones that, okay, yeah, hey, Big Pharma paid them to BS.
Right.
But yeah, I read through some of it. I think I got all the way to the last page and I fell asleep. But man,
yeah, the page 4 is probably like the most important one because it's got the set of rules that are listed with it, and that's where things really gonna get sticky. The flavor ban's one thing, and it's horrible, and I am totally against it. But there are so many other things in that rules section you have to look at. Like they separated all vaping products and nicotine vaping products. They said or, so it can be either one of those. So is that going to include zero nic? Is that going to include CBD vaping? Is that going to include like anything that's vaping? If you have 4 bottles in your possession, you're considered with an intent to distribute.
Yep.
That's one of those really bad things. And then when you're talking about stores, it says you have to have the product 25 feet away from the point of sale, which would be your register. Candy, soda pop. It's like, where are you supposed to keep this stuff? Like on the roof? Like, do you move your cash register out in the parking lot? Like, how? There's no store that could possibly adhere to these rules. The other thing is
25 feet, right?
Yeah, if you're 25 feet away from the register, and then you can't have any advertising that someone could see from 25 feet away from the store.
I think my local vape shop is maybe 10 by 20 foot.
Yeah, I don't think I have a vape store that could do that. I mean, it would just be, there would be a cash register all by itself, like in the back room.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you pick everything, then you got to go all the way back there to check out, which is just kind of insane. The other thing that makes me laugh, too, if you read into that at all, it said that 81% of young people started vaping using flavored e-cigarette products. Okay? What they don't realize and what's wrong about that statistic is tobacco is a flavor. We don't wring out tobacco leaves and put it in a bottle and make vape liquid out of it. Exactly. Unless those other 19% of kids started on plain, everyone starts on a flavored vapor product. And that's where this gets all convoluted because they don't understand the industry. They think that there's tobacco in tobacco flavored e-liquid, and it's just not the case. It's a mix-up of flavors just like anything else is, just different extracts. That's really what's going on there. So there are a lot of things like that in there, but that intent to distribute thing, and it says 4 containers. So 4 jewel pods is an intent to distribute. 4 tanks with liquid in them is an intent to distribute. Now, when we were reading through this, everybody kept saying, well, so you have to have less than 4 bottles. That's not really true. Any bottles of flavored e-liquid in Michigan are going to be banned. And the best way I can describe it to most people is think about marijuana. If you had an eighth of marijuana in your car and the cop pulled you over, he's going to confiscate that because it's illegal. And that's exactly the same thing that's going to happen to vape liquid, except on the opposite. You can have 2.5 ounces of marijuana in your car, but if you have any vape liquid, you may possibly go to jail for 6 months.
Yep. And
it's
every
cumulative.
Adds on to it.
Right. So in my apartment right now, with the bottles that I currently have, I think I'm looking at about 600 to 700 months in jail.
Yeah, probably about the same for me.
Yeah.
I got a lot.
And that's crazy to think about that way, but my job is to test liquid. That's what I do. I test liquid so I know what to sell in the store. So people are constantly sending me free bottles.
Right.
And we were literally like weeks away from opening a store in Michigan.
Yeah.
Literally weeks away. I had product purchased. I had people hired. And they're still hired. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with them all, but now we have, plenty of extra people. We had a building already set up to go. The only thing we were waiting on is just to take possession of the keys. And when this hit on Wednesday. So I was going to bring money to your state, and now I can't do that.
Right. And it's not just bringing money. You would have saved lives.
Yes. No, I understand that. Yeah. There's all kinds of other aspects, but she only seems to be concerned about the money.
Right.
So that's where the issue is.
And
every politician runs on a program of small business. Small businesses is the backbone of our community.
Yeah.
Well, you just killed all of those small businesses.
Yeah.
Most of them really are small businesses.
Don't you love?
I mean,
that?
you better get more of that parade maker
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
while it's
Well,
still available.
The thing about it is, there's a lot of these shops. I know you have a chain. It's part of. I think you said 6 or 8 different locations.
Yeah, 6 locations and a website.
Yeah. So, a lot of these shops, like the one here in my town, is a one shop. It's locally owned. If something like that happened to those people, that's their income. What
Yeah,
are
I
they?
know of a shop like that in Michigan. It's called Himalaya Vape.
Yeah.
It's a husband and wife that run the place with their
Mhm.
son. It's a definite mom and pop shop to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And they have that one location. They get 5-star reviews. Everybody that I talk to that goes up there really likes their shop. They really take care of people, and their livelihood is being completely threatened at this point.
Yeah.
Yep. Same as my local vape shop. That's maybe 2 seconds down the road from my house. I can walk to it in less than 5 minutes. If this comes to Texas, I mean, I'm pretty sell out their product. Did I freeze? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, so I mean, they would definitely be in trouble because I'm pretty sure that's their whole life savings. And they said, okay, we have something right here that we can make money off of and help save lives.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, the husband and wife running it, if that goes away, then they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I think that's why every
And
governor
where am I
in
with-
the United States is watching Michigan right now to see if this is something they can do in their state.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mhm.
every vape shop owner in the country is watching this situation because they know what a slippery slope this is.
Mhm.
Yep.
And if they can put emergency powers in for this, folks, even if you're not a vapor, they're going to get to you. They're going to find your little thing that you like, and they're going to ban that too.
Yep.
Because once you give them the power to do this, it's detrimental. And people are like, well, it could last like only 6 months. There's not a vape shop in the United States that could last for 6 months without flavors. That is our primary source of income.
Mm-hmm.
Coils and pod systems and all that kind of stuff is a very low markup. There's a lot of competition out there for that. Liquid is the only way that we can keep the doors open and keep people employed. So if you take that away and they know that, you're going to close all of these businesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's
And if you just look around Ohio right now, Michigan has this possible flavor ban. Illinois is a flavor ban.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana's got all kinds of weird laws when it comes to vaping.
Yep.
And then Pennsylvania's got a 40% wholesale tax. The closest state I have to me that's got their head screwed on straight is Kentucky, and that's like 5.5, 6 hours away from
Yeah.
it. How much of this stuff have we been thrown this year that's just like nonstop?
Yep. And think about
Like what happened there was something big that happened last week, and we've just totally forgotten about it because of this.
Yeah. And I mean, what's going to happen when the science has actually proven that we were right the entire time? And how, and I don't know how, but this should have a definite impact on anybody's name that was associated with it. I doubt it will, but it should.
But it won't.
It should have a definite detrimental impact, because to me, if that person, just take, what's her name, Gretchen Whitmer, something like that, Whitmer.
Adolf Whitmer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so her name is on this emergency order that's putting in a flavor ban for all vaping products. So if 6 months rolls around and all of a sudden they get this proven science in front of them, her name, it should be dragged through the mud. I doubt it will be, but
Yeah.
it
should be though. It should be false accusations, false charges.
You know when the science
Exactly.
will come out? In 2022, as soon as the MSAs are done.
yeah,
Because the MSAs expire in 2022. And that's
It'll be
exactly,
just like
it'll be a month
marijuana.
after that, and then all of a sudden, Philip Morris will come out with this thing like, vaping is healthy, buy a Juul.
yeah. And then, we've gone through this with food. I don't know, you probably remember it went through a long time where they said eggs were bad for you. And then eggs were good
Yeah.
for you. Don't eat
Butter.
eggs there. Yeah, eggs are bad for you. Well, actually, they are good for you. Just eat this many. I mean, it's going to go through this circle, but it's just aggravating that we've been through this before with other things. Prime example was eggs. That's just one that I remember.
Marijuana.
Yeah, but people just keep going through the same circle. We have to find a way. We have to find somebody that's willing to step up and break this circle of just honestly just stupidity. That's the only thing that we have hope for. Of course, I'm always positive about it. I try to be. I do get angry. I get angry from time to time, and I do rant from time to time.
Yeah.
But I'm just very passionate about this because this saved my life. I've made so many friends in this industry. Not just YouTube people and Anthony, Stan, Jay, and Frames Janklin, Vapor Swaggins. There's tons of people out there that we know and that we wouldn't know if this industry wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
I've made more friends in the last year to 2 years than I have in probably the last 10. And
I felt like it took the leprosy. Yeah, I was going to say it took the leprosy of being a smoker and brought us together as a family.
Yeah,
it
really did.
You used to feel like an outcast when you smoked, but this vaping thing has kind of brought all kinds of different people together. There are so many people that I met through vaping that I never would have talked to before. But it's almost, and I hate always saying this, but it feels like a religion. Like we're all just kind of, trying to spread the gospel of vaping around the country.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like. It really does, because you never knew what you were getting into. It's like you didn't make the switch to vaping so you could become an advocate. It's when you made the switch to vaping, you did become an advocate. You didn't make that decision. It's just something that absolutely happened. And you're right about that. It scares me a lot to think of what could possibly be. And who's going to prevail. Because, like right now, I can't decide whether to purchase product or not.
Mm-hmm.
How much of a supply do I want to have on hand? If they give me 30 days to sell off and I've got 6 months of inventory, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's a trying time for me right now to try and figure out what to keep and what to, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of like what Shane said about the history repeating itself. We've talked about this before on the Weekend Wisdom. History is just going to keep repeating itself. It's just going to be a different thing that's going to get banned or get outlawed or prohibition or anything like that.
Okay. Says we're back, but I'm working on getting back into the Zoom room. So give me just a second. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but I hope you can. There we go. Maybe.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
You're muted.
What's wrong? Did we say something you didn't like?
His internet doesn't like us.
My internet took a shit just like normal. It just goes out every once in a while. So
I was telling Jay, I haven't been on a vape show this week that hasn't had technical problems, and I started thinking conspiracy. I really do. It's like, they're talking about that vaping buzzword. Let's get in there and mess that up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's weird. I've had 3 shows cut early, just gone. Like, I don't know why, but it's weird. Maybe it's me. Sorry, guys.
They hear us. It hears us.
Yeah, no, my internet's been giving me fits for weeks. It'll run just perfect, and all of a sudden just off a cliff for like 30 seconds, and then it'll come back. But during that time, I have to stop, restart, and do all of that. You can't just go right back to the same one because it'll just sit there and spin.
Yeah.
Now, is there something going on in Alabama right now? Did I see something in the...
I don't think so. I have not seen anything.
Right. I thought I heard somebody say Alabama in one of the other things I was watching, so I wasn't sure if that was...
the last thing that we had go on was the laws that just came out of nowhere. And that went in August 1st. It came to the public like, I think July 30th is when it was brought to the public.
Tax?
No, it wasn't any tax. It was just...
Okay.
You have to have a tobacco license, and they put it under the... what is it?
The alcohol division.
Yeah, they put it with the ATF.
That. Okay, yeah, I do. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, policing themselves. That's really funny.
But here's the thing. That could end up being a good thing for Alabama, simply
Good.
because they dropped it in there under the guise of the ATF. Okay, the ATF also runs the ABC stores, which is the Alabama Board alcohol stores.
Like state liquor stores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So who's to say that if all this kind of goes to shit, that they couldn't come out with a state store that sells vaping supplies?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Because it's governed under the ATF, so they
Right.
can.
It'd also be the lowest possible prices, and
Yeah.
that's a pretty killer idea there.
I
I mean, I wouldn't like it personally because then I'm out of a job. But
Yeah.
I do understand what
Yeah.
you're saying.
it would
That's a pretty good idea.
it would be able to keep the industry alive.
Right.
I don't really think it would work that well, simply because anything that's government run, it just has so many issues with it.
Yeah, that you're absolutely right
Yeah.
about that.
I mean, it's going to be all smoke products because that's the cheapest thing they can buy. Yeah.
Yep.
Before I came to work at Vapors, that some of their stores were like basically you just could have put smoke outside because it's like every product they had was smoke.
Oh
I
yeah.
have fixed that problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really funny there for a while. It was just like, all right, well, I don't really like smoke products. Well, all right, well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Like, you just had nothing else to offer them. But,
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore.
And I've been to a lot of places, even around here, that are like that. The
Really?
vape shop where I bought my first setup, the second time around when I started vaping, it was actually the Smoke Pro Color, and it still just sits here.
Oh wow, okay.
Because
shield.
because this right here is all broken.
A battery door problem on a smoke product? I've never seen that
Yeah,
before.
it lasted
First one
about
ever.
4 months. So I mean, I got my $75 out of it.
Yeah.
So, but that's all he had, because he hadn't been there
Yeah.
that long, and that's really all he knew to buy, because that's what was selling. Now he has totally upped his game, and he has Cosmonauts, Hell Vape. He's actually got an Ardent in his store. I was really surprised to see that. So it's good when those companies kind of get out there, where they can understand, hey, this is a good product. And he uses everything. He's got an Orion. He still uses mech mods. He loves my Overlord, because I bought the Drop Dead from him at the store, and I took it back over there the other day, and I said, I figured you might want to see where your Drop Dead went. And he wants that Overlord, but I won't let him have it.
It's a nice looking Mac.
Yeah, he said, man, this thing's comfortable, and I was like, yeah, I know, that's why I bought it. So, but it's good to see those people actually getting out and researching and putting the decent stuff in the store. Yeah, it costs a little bit more. I think he's $36 for an RDA, around that area, which, I mean, they're 25, 28 online. So, going there and buying it, to me, is more satisfying.
Sure.
It cost a little bit more, but I'd rather
Right.
give him my money than Element Vape or my V Pro, because we have a personal relationship. And that,
Right.
it makes it so much better. And I wish there were more shops
A
around.
point I brought up, and that's kind of the point I brought up today at work, was that brick and mortar's primary job is to help smokers to make that switch.
Mhm.
Most smokers are not going to go online and buy a product, and if they do, they're probably not going to be satisfied with what they get because they don't know what to buy.
Right.
The brick and mortars are that's that thing, that's that niche thing that they do better than anybody else. And the
Mhm.
problem is, you start banning flavors in a state, all the stores will close up, and people are like, well, yeah, I can still buy my stuff online. Yeah, you can, because you know what to buy. But what about the guy out there that's still smoking, that hasn't quite made that decision to make the switch yet? I don't have an opportunity to even talk to him anymore because I don't have a shop.
Right.
Because
That's
where
a
do
real
people make
rough
the switch?
situation.
At a vape shop, or do they make it online?
Yeah.
To me, I'm pretty sure it's at a vape shop, and that's why I always say support the people. I mean, even if it's not like Shane said, he's gonna buy everything from that vape shop. But if he goes there and there's something that might be like a bottle of liquid, and usually it's online, it's like $12 to $15. If it's $20 there, I'm pretty sure he'll buy it.
Oh yeah.
support the people who supported you and helped you on your journey for vaping. That's why I always say, even if I don't buy anything from my local shop, I go in there at least once a week just to talk to them.
The other thing I would really tell you guys too is, and maybe this is something that's just because it's on my end, but if you have local shops that you visit all the time that you like, get on and give them a 5-star Google review.
Yep.
Like that is so important, because when people come to your town, the first thing they're going to do if they need it, they're just going to go on Google and say vape shops near me.
Yeah.
And you know, usually a lot of times what will happen is a lot of people will only comment if they're upset about something. So you see these shops with 1-star or 2-star reviews, and if you read the review, they're like, well, this person's an idiot, so then no wonder they didn't get good service there. But all those other 5-star reviews will kind of offset that if they're there. But a lot of people, if they have good service, they just don't do anything extra because they kind of feel like, well, that's what's supposed to happen. And in this day and age, you got to tell people where the good places are to go.
Yeah.
Just my little point there on that.
Did y'all hear about the people or the person or one of the people who was making the THC cartridges? Did you hear about them finding him?
Oh no.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I can't find the post right now.
Let me just say.
I'll try to find it later, and I'll make sure I send it to y'all. But it was pretty much, he was making about, I think, 2,000 a week. They found him with a bunch of marijuana, a bunch of the shatter, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then they found him with $2,000 cashed on him. He actually had people hired to help him make all these. So I think he was making about 2,000 for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Can you hear me? He's making them for the past 2 years, about 2,000 a week. And
so they're all
found
over the place.
One person. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you see that thing that's been all over Instagram today about that Australian little news segment that they did? That was actually really awesome.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was very cool. Even from a country where nicotine is not legal, they still did a story about that, and it was probably the most true story I've seen on the news from a country that doesn't even allow nicotine to be used in their country. That blew me away.
Actually, in Texas, he put something on there where he was pretty much like, yes, I understand in Texas that THC is illegal, but I'm not going to sit here and blame the vape industry for what is going on. I bought not even a black market, and I got sick off it, and now I'm in the hospital fighting for my life. That was awesome. I can't remember. I wish I would have reposted it. I don't know if I did, but I need to go back and find that one, because all these people in the hospital holding up these signs like, oh, I want to start a no vaping campaign because it put me in the hospital. No, you bought something that's illegal, and then you bought it from someone off the street.
Yeah.
This guy in Texas sat there and said, hey, I know it's illegal in Texas. I bought one in Texas. I bought it from Joe Blow, and this is what happened to me. I'm not blaming it on the vaping industry. This is all my fault for trying to buy something illegal that I didn't buy at a shop. I bought it from someone out of the back of their car.
Right.
And that guy right there, I'll commend him just for that. Just for that.
Did you see the one kid that had passed away that his mom went home and found the cartridge in the trash?
Yes. I heard about that.
I probably still tried to blame it on vaping.
No, she took it.
I mean, that was the whole thing. She actually took it into the hospital and showed him.
Yeah, she took it to the doctor. Because when he got there, he was telling the doctor that he was vaping. And I think that he told him a jewel. And so his mom went home and found the THC cartridge and took it back up there. So they had confirmed.
And kept that secret all the way till he died.
Yeah, they confirmed
That's crazy.
that one was THC. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, nothing about this has to do with what we use.
No,
not at all.
Not at all. And
they're also saying finding vitamin E and stuff in all these cartridges and everything.
Yeah, they said that on the, what was that, Australian news that was going through Instagram?
That. Yeah.
That guy said if you're using vitamin E, an oil is not meant to be inhaled. I mean, it's the same thing as You know, if you're cooking on the skillet and you catch some of those fumes coming up from that oil, it burns.
Mhm.
Well, and I was thinking about that too, as like a correlation, because Grim was talking a little bit about how the wording could get so far off. You could have one guy that was trying to cook chicken in motor oil and got sick from it, and then their headline would be like, "Don't use any oils to cook with."
Right.
It's totally out of the. It's like, well, this idiot was using motor oil and antifreeze to cook his dinner with. Obviously, he got sick and died from that. That has nothing to do with the vegetable oil that's in my kitchen. But
Yeah.
since they're both oils, that makes everything dangerous. And I think
Yeah.
that's where this all gets in, convoluted.
Yeah.
Are a Chihuahua and a Rottweiler just as dangerous because they're both dogs?
Yeah.
No, have
Yeah.
some understanding, and don't be so afraid. And what happens is these scientists came out and they're like, listen, this vitamin E oil is what's causing the problem. And as soon as that comes out, the CDC and the FDA start saying, we can't determine that at this point, so we can't, specifically say it was that. So just don't vape anything.
Yeah.
Well, why?
But
Like, why can't you say, because it's not proven the facts that you want to be proved?
right. But that's like saying, okay, we have a salmonella outbreak with this brand of broccoli and it's carried in these stores, but our suggestion is you just don't eat for 6 months. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah,
much the
no
same
broccoli.
thing. Yeah, no, you
It
don't
is.
eat,
I know.
period.
It
Not
just
just
don't eat
no
it all.
broccoli. You don't eat it
The
all.
act of eating is bad.
Yes.
Yes.
We've had 6 people eat this broccoli now and they've died. So we're going to say we're just going to ban eating for 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
Nobody
that's
eat
what,
for 6 months.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
they're doing. We had, nationwide these six, for some reason, I've heard 300 to 500 people now. And I don't know how these are getting inflated so much. You know, last I heard it was either 3 to 6 people. I think 3 people had passed away, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Five now?
It's up to five.
Okay.
5 now.
And
Yeah.
it's all from this black
And now
market.
it's like at 450 recorded in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I saw
Okay.
that too. Yeah.
But, let's just, it's
Not
all from this.
450 deaths, but 450 accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just ban,
Yeah,
all
freezing
flavors.
up.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pose a question to you too. I'm just curious how you'll answer this. So, money is not an object, and today is today. What would you do to let people know that vaping is healthier than smoking? You can do anything you want. Money's no object. Something that you could actually really do. What's the ticket? What's the key? How do we get this out to people? Cost is not an issue.
Well, here in Alabama, there is a place, UAB. Most people have heard of it. It's a college, it's a medical college. They have a huge research department, scientific research department. So if money was not an object, I would fund a research project for this specific department of this hospital to research any and all effects of vaping. And I would fly people in here. I know I've only been doing it a couple of years. I know Joel's almost 10 years in, and Grim is
That's awesome.
almost, I want to say he's probably 10 years in. I would
Yeah, it's
fly.
2009, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would fly those people in. People that have been vaping for at least three to 10 years. I would fly those people in and have them test those people, test their health based on a normal person, a person that's never smoked, a person that's never vaped. You're just your average Joe. Here's your health stats, and here's the health stats of a person that has been vaping a minimum of 3 years and up. Here's the stats. Then I would also have them do a study on every e-liquid manufacturer I could find. I would buy a bottle, send it to them, research everything about this, give me every bit of information you find about it, and that way we could have the facts based out of a U.S. Research center.
Gotcha.
And it would be something that there's no alternative around it. You can't dispute this because it's coming from the UK. This is coming from the heart of the South now. You know, the middle of the Bible Belt is telling you
Yeah.
now that vaping's okay. There's no harmful
Right.
side effects. There is no popcorn lung. Or somebody asked me the other day if I ever heard of a Swiss cheese lung. And I'm like, what the hell, Swiss cheese lung? You know? And I just looked at it and I said, all that is just made up propaganda about, I don't know what, and I can't say anything else about it because I don't know what it is. So, but I just informed him that all that stuff's made up. So, you know, kind of do your own research. He's a smoker, and I'm trying to convert him. And he's very resistant. He's he's around my age and has been smoking. I think he said 22 or 23 years. So I mean, it's a real stress reliever for him because he's a very high strung person. So, and I'm trying to, you know, explain to him, hey, this will give you your fix, but you're not hurting yourself by doing it, or you're hurting yourself 95% less than you would with that. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's what I would do if I had
Okay.
if money was not an object. I would fund a U.S. based research into the results of vaping.
What about you, Jay?
Um, Not to just piggyback off of what he said, but I'd probably do something similar, and I would share the results on social media, because I mean, think about technology now and how much more people look at a phone or social media than they look, like, more people look at their phone for facts than watch the news or anything like that. So I would have it just get the results. I'd blast it all over every social media platform possible
Mm-hmm.
and get people to get on board with it, because of course people would get on board with this and they would start blasting it everywhere too. And then eventually it would make its way to mainstream news and everything. But that was one thing I would do, just because of the era we're in now, where technology and cell phones and stuff like that, like, yeah, Facebooks, you'd be able to see this everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's something I would definitely do. Is I'd be able to, I would do like a campaign on Instagram, everywhere possible. Because like even my fiance sent me something today on Snapchat where it had something about how vaping is bad for you. I'm like, really? On freaking Snapchat? And then there's some people in my local town who I don't even think are who vape at all, but they posted something today saying, "Hey, vaping's not even bad for you. Why is everyone? What's everyone complaining about? What's everyone doing all this stuff about?" So that's something I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
could.
I would kind of at least piggyback on that a little bit by thinking I would want it to be on the front page of Google. I
Yep.
want to have 10 positive vaping stories on the first page of Google when somebody types in vaping,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the education. I just want the facts to be on the first page. Like
Mm-hmm.
no negative anti stories, no positive stories, just facts that they could go 3 or 4 different places and look up and go, I know I can trust this site. They're going to give me the facts to this. Let me be educated so I can make a logical decision about what the next step is.
Exactly.
Now, I have something that I've been saving until a little bit later on in the episode, because I'm sure it's something neither one of you know about. Are you familiar with the Bob and Tom show? It's a morning radio show.
Yes.
All right. It's been going on forever. Actually, Tom Griswold, which is the Tom of the Bob and Tom, actually came to my high school in like 1990. So this has been on the air. It's actually broadcast across the Air Force's radio network as well. I have about a 20-minute drive to work, and they just happened to be on the radio this morning when I was going to work, and they were doing their normal stick and trying to make us all laugh. And then Tom Griswold says, "Well, looks like we found out over the weekend that vaping causes cancer."
Oh God.
And then his co-host, which is the woman that does like the news and stuff, she's like, "Oh yeah, that vaping stuff, that's really bad." Now the size of their audience is massive. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands of listeners at any point in time. Now, when has there ever been any news stories recently that says vaping causes cancer? Number one, where the hell would he get this information? And why is it okay for him to just say it like that without any kind of backing or anything and not get some repercussions for that? But literally in my 20-minute drive to work, I'm just in the car like, what the hell? Like, where did this come from? Like, there's no news story behind it. There's nothing like that. And then he was talking about the THC cartridges, but he just got it mixed up in his mind and said, yeah, these vaping these e-cigarettes that causes cancer. And I stood there kind of stunned. And I'm curious what you guys think about this, because I didn't know if you know about the show or not, but it's like it just blew me away.
Yeah, and that's what's happening with like everything on news. It's just they hear one thing. It's like I think we talked about in the last time when you were on Weekend Wisdom, when they were like, "Oh yeah, well they're standing in the hospital door, hearing what's happening to this kid. And all they heard was vaping, hospitalized, lung illness, might die, and then boom, they just run out there. They don't hear the whole story. They just start throwing stuff out there, and it's not just on like that radio station, like you said. Man, it's everywhere. And it's annoying because like even opening up, like you said, Google, the front page of Google. Whenever I go to my phone and I go to Google Chrome on here, the first thing that comes up is AT&T something yada yada, and it brings up all the Google News. And that's like one of the first things that I saw on there the other day was, oh, vaping doing this, vaping doing that, vaping doing this, vaping. I'm like, how, like, why can someone put out something whenever people have paid millions of dollars for research, but yet people can put stuff out there and nothing happens to them? To me, I think it's ridiculous, like you said. I think it's ridiculous how someone gets no repercussion from that whenever there's people who have funded millions of dollars, probably billions by now, just on research for vaping. And it just all gets thrown away just by one person starting one little rumor. And it's just so crazy that if you just honestly go to Google, search things for vaping or whatever you want to search, something will come up from Royal College of Physicians and all these other places that have done positive, even ones in the U.S. But yet everyone wants to downgrade everything just to get a quick dollar on their report that they did and everything. And it's just absolutely crazy. There's no repercussions. Kind of like we were talking about with the governors and everything. How's there no repercussion on false advertisement, on false news? But yet, if you go to the police station right now and you do a false accusation, you can go to jail for that. But then it all gets thrown into freedom of speech, and I'm huge for freedom of speech, but still, it's just so stupid that people can do this. Throw not even just a couple people in the dirt, a whole industry, people's livelihood, people who have their whole life savings into one little shop that is barely up and running, can barely pay the light bill, and all that's gonna get thrown away because of all these stupid accusations, because they don't want to do the research. They just want to say, oh, the delivery system they were using is vaping, so we're gonna just demonize all of vaping. We're gonna make it all look like crap. Instead of, okay, we're doctors, we paid almost $100,000 just to go to school to be able to become a doctor. Let's actually research this. Let's actually see what's going on with this person. Let's actually figure out what happened instead of just, oh, he said he was vaping? Yeah. Hey, headlines, come here real quick. I got something you can make some money on. I think it's just BS and ridiculous. And it sucks. It's terrible because, like I said, it's people's livelihoods. I'm not even thinking about it just for me and all the other people out there who are vaping or the people who can vape, but people who have put so much money into this organization or into an organization or into a shop or into an advocacy group, and all of it just get thrown away, or even into the research and development and everything. All that just get thrown away just because some kids are doing stupid shit with illegal drugs, or I don't even want to call it a drug, and an illegal thing in their state because it's legal in other states, but buying it from someone in the black market. It's just ridiculous because, like, all the vapors, we see it. There's other people who aren't even vapors who see it, but yet the news still wants to say, oh, vaping is causing this. And like my fiance, literally, whenever I keep bringing her up, I could show you my text. Like, there's probably at least 10 screenshots in the last week just vape. She sent me 2 today.
Yeah.
Just people demonizing vaping and then people saying positive stuff about it back. And I'm just like and the thing is, she sees it. She's like, how is this thing more harmful? You're not lighting something. There's not millions of chemicals or thousands of chemicals, like someone even said the other day. But then Gretchen wants to go over there and say, oh, yeah, well, the amount of chemicals that's in vaping, the amount of chemicals, you mean the FDA-approved PG and VG? Oh, and then nicotine and food or additives for flavoring. artificial flavoring that's in like everything we eat
Yeah.
and everything we drink and cakes and drink, yada yada. But yet you want to say all the chemicals that we're finding in vaping it almost amounts to the number of smoking. Where are you getting your research from?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
I've even seen it called a chemical cocktail before.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. That just sounds horrible. Like wow, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And that 86% wholesale tax is out in Utah. The guy gave an impassioned, emotional speech how he'd had family members that had died from smoking. Well, what the hell does that have to do with vaping?
Yeah. If they would have had vaping, they might not have died.
Right. But that was a paragraph in there. It's like he gave this emotional speech about how he had family members that died from smoking. Well, then do something about smoking.
Yeah.
There's not been a single death from vaping nicotine the way that we do, and as long as it's used correctly.
Right.
And yet we still get demonized. Can you think of anything else that kills like 5 or 6 people that would cover this much national news?
No.
I mean, even look at
if
heroin.
5 people died from deodorant use, they would probably wait till there was at least 100 before they even talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shit. Like, even look at alcohol, underage driving. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's more people who die from underage driving, not under the influence of anything, but being 15, 14, taking a car, go out and driving and wrecking it, killing someone or killing yourself. I'm pretty sure there's more in that, more in kidnapping, more in serial killers, more in all of this, but yet the real epidemic is in vaping and teens getting a hold of a 95% healthier alternative. We can't have that. They need to die sooner. Why are they going to get this healthier alternative?
Yeah.
It's like, really? I honestly don't understand it. I don't understand their way of thinking. I wish I could just live one day in their shoes and be like, am I really this ignorant? Or are these people really this ignorant? Or what is it? Because it's just like the facts are in front of you, but you just can't open your eyes to look at it. It's like, oh crap, let me close out that page. That one has true facts on. Let me pull up one that doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
holy shit.
There was one thing in our health and wellness presentation that the lady that gives it is actually an RN, so she's a licensed nurse or a registered nurse. Excuse me. There's a big difference between a licensed nurse and registered nurse. Don't ever call one the other. They don't like that.
No LPN.
No.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
That would be an epidemic.
Yeah. But she mentioned in her presentation that up until the age of 25, there is a part of the brain that's still developing that nicotine will affect. Okay? My boss is a former smoker, and he doesn't smoke or vape. He quit cold turkey years ago. And he asked me after it was over, he said, well, why is everybody making a big deal out of this? Because if you're over 25, it's not going to affect that part of your brain anyway. And I said, valid point. Why would people be freaking out if you're over 25 and vaping? There is no argument there because that part of your brain's fully developed. I'm 42. I am well over 25. So that part of my brain has been developed for a long time. I think I'm okay.
It's as developed as it's going to get.
Yeah, yeah. It may have never fully developed. I took a lot of hard hits to the head when I was younger, but and it was a valid point, and I understand none of us want to see the underage kids with any kind of vaping product, whether it's a nicotine vaping product, a THC, CBD, doesn't matter. We don't want kids having any of that. The whole nation is in agreement on that aspect of it.
Yeah.
The part that gets me is the people like Whitmer that just want to take it away from everybody simply because someone told them that it wasn't good.
I don't understand it, so let's kill it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, people that have never smoked don't understand how hard it is to quit. They're like, well, just stop. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. You just
I had
stop.
a lady come into the shop one time that her human resources manager had said, just quit nicotine for a week so you can pass your little drug tests.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you turn to her and go, why don't you quit caffeine for a week?
Yeah.
See how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Try that. Quit sugar for a week.
Yeah.
See how that goes for you. Like, you can't just tell somebody they can just stop.
Yeah.
That does not work that way. And there there are worse side effects with caffeine and sugar that are even close for
Yeah.
nicotine.
That's like I have a bad left knee, so I'll walk with a slight limp, and it's been that way for 20 plus years. That's like looking
So
at
you got some
me.
swagger.
Yeah, I got a little pimp step.
Yeah.
If I swing my
Get you a
arms,
cane, baby.
yeah, swing my arms right, I look like George Jefferson. Uh, but no, I mean it's not real noticeable, but it'd just be like somebody walking up to me and saying, "Hey, walk normal." You know, it's I can't. You know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people have to understand that we use this as an alternative. You know, now some people just use, maybe they'll go this route. This is all they have, which is perfectly fine. You
Mm-hmm.
know, or they may have this, or they may be like Jay and me and just have a desk full of stuff. You know.
If they got a Shogun, they're lucky because that's a beautiful mod.
Oh yeah, I love this thing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, with the
Yeah. I've
and
seen a
then
bunch of the styles of those, and they all look fantastic.
and then Jess Marie made that tip for me to match.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because I'm colorblind. So when I bought this specifically so I could get this blue profile.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I need a drip tip, but I don't want just a blue one because it'll all blend in. So
Right.
I just sent Jess Marie a picture of this whole setup, and I said, can you find something for me that matches in a chop top? And she said, yes, just order whatever and put color match at the bottom, and I'll remember. And so I just ordered a random one and put color match, and that's what she sent me, and it looks perfect.
I
Mm-hmm.
love those ladies. I'll tell you what, when I woke up Wednesday morning, my first contact was to Angela.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, what? I mean, I woke up to my phone just going bling, 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 bling. I'm like, what the hell happened?
yeah,
You know? And I start looking and I'm like, what? 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 And I'm like,
yeah,
Angela, what is going on with this? She's like, I don't know. Let me get into it. Like,
yeah,
it was such fresh information. I don't think anybody had anything on it yet. But
yeah,
yeah, I almost felt like I was like letting her know about something, which felt kind of cool. But
yeah,
still, it was like, get me some info on this. And sure enough, a half hour later, she set me up with a bunch of links
yeah,
to kind of get me up to speed on what was going on. So it's nice to have this group of people, in our YouTube little family here of,
yeah.
people that help each other, because there's no way any one of us can do all the research that's necessary.
Oh
I
no,
mean, there's
there's
just
way
so
too
much stuff.
much.
I spend half my day reading articles trying to keep up,
Hmm.
and I still miss a lot. I still have people at my shop sending me stuff like, "Man, I didn't even see this. Like, where did you find this?"
Yeah,
It's everywhere. But going back to Jay's point, he's talking about how they're coming against vaping so hard, and I think the reason why it's so hard right now is I think that they're not stupid. They know that we're right, and they are putting up the biggest fight they can because they know if this gets streamlined and mainstream, that a lot of companies are going to lose a bunch of money because of it. And I think that it's getting to the point where they know this science is going to break through at any moment. So they're putting up the biggest fight they can right now. And I kind of take some pride in that because, they're not fighting some of these other things. They're fighting vaping because they know it's just a half a millisecond before people are going to just realize it. And I think it's kind of similar to marijuana in that way, where it finally just kind of broke through. And people were like, enough's enough. Like,
right.
we've had enough of this craziness. It's not a Schedule 1 narcotic. Like, just cut that shit out.
Yeah,
And I think that's where vaping is right now. It's on that cusp where people are finally starting to learn a little bit more about it and learn that it isn't so bad and it really does help people. And they're like, we got to shut this down now because if we don't, it's never going to get shut down.
right. And
Personal
here's the thing I was thinking about on the tobacco tax money, and I think Logan put it in the chat earlier that it was 990 million. So that doesn't change my answer to, if I would take the 990 million to not see my child graduate high school. No, I wouldn't take it. There's not enough money in the world that you could pay me to do that. So, but if they're afraid of losing that money because vaping is getting bigger, then take my advice from, I want to say it's probably the second or first, maybe one of the first 3 episodes of the Weekend Wisdom when we were talking about taxes. If they would tax vaping the same way they tax cigarettes, they would never lose a dime.
Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't care.
Yep.
And in January they go recreationally legal. I think they're going to have all the tax money they can handle.
Yeah.
I don't even
But
think that's really even a concern at this point. I think the biggest concern is they got to pay those bonds back, and they're worried that they're not going to have the money for that.
yeah,
I really feel like once marijuana goes rec in Michigan, that they're going to have tax money they don't know.
right.
You actually
And
might be able to drive to Detroit and not go into a pothole.
yeah, I doubt it.
It's a dream to have.
Yeah.
It's a dream to have anyway.
So that's kind of like the lottery, in Mississippi and all that to help the schools, and then nothing ever happened. So
Yeah.
they're just taking that money and running with it.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of health and wellness, we have our health and wellness for our company coming. Well, we have our yearly or annual wellness check coming this week. Next week, we have our health and wellness administrator, or whatever you want to call her, the head of health and wellness for all of our company wide, coming to our plant next week. And Anthony, if you would love to send me any links possible, I'll make sure I don't already have them. But I've already got a whole thing full of links that I'm gonna print out and just drop on her whenever she walks through the door. Because that was one of the things I brought up to her was, hey, well, why are we banning vaping too from the company? I understand smoke free, yada yada, but this isn't smoking. Well, it still puts off smoke. I was like, no, it puts off vapor, first of all.
Mhm.
Right.
And then I was like, well, and she's like, well, we're helping people with other NRTs like Chantix and all this other stuff. Like, oh, okay, yeah, so let's just make people go crazy and commit suicide or try to kill their whole family or something. But
Do you have the Harvard study? Do you have
Huh?
the Clean Air Harvard study they did about exhaled vapor?
Yes, because that was
Okay,
one of the things
that's an
that brought
important
up.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a really important one.
I've already got a bunch of articles, but if there's anything else you want to send it over to me because I plan on having a good long talk because they only want to talk to HRs. But whenever she comes to our plant, we could talk to her about whatever we want. So that's the first thing I'm doing is, hey, here's a whole bunch of articles. You might want to rethink about the vaping thing because if it's 2 times any other NRT that this company is going to help purchase for any of our employees, this might be something you might want to look into helping out with and actually keeping around.
Yep.
Speaking, if you want to be in this health and wellness and yada yada.
Did you know there's a federal insurance benefit to get FDA approved nicotine replacement products for free?
Yeah,
It's actually part of your insurance. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I had one of those at a job where the health and wellness people came in, they served us lunch and they served us hot dogs and potato chips, and it made me laugh because I couldn't think of a more unhealthy lunch to have than that for the health and wellness day that we were having. It was just
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get something like that because every time we have a customer come in, I was like, hey, can we get like me? I'm a health nut. I used to be a big health nut and starting to get back into it a little bit, but I'm the type of person I want to eat something healthier. I don't want to sit there and eat a hot dog, a hamburger. I will every now and then, but every time when we have like a customer come in, like, hey, can we get some like healthier alternatives for food whenever someone comes in? Like, can we buy them something, or can you just give me the company card? I'll take them to a place that serves nothing but salad. It's like a huge Subway for salad, or Mediterranean place or something. They're like, oh, well, what kind of pizza do you want then? I'm like, oh my god! I was like, I just said, can you get something healthier? Well, yeah. Well, do you want just veggie pizza? I'm like, oh.
Well, since you brought up pizza, do you know what pizza is classified as in school lunch? Vegetable.
Yeah, it is. It actually is because my daughter, they were talking about it, and they've said
that's how they keep pizza on like every day is because it's classified as a vegetable
because it has tomato sauce.
Which tomato is not a vegetable anyway.
Yeah.
And all the sugar and salt that goes into it.
Yeah, exactly. But that is a federally mandated thing that pizza is actually considered a vegetable for school lunch programs.
Wow.
Where do we live?
Yeah.
Put me back in the Matrix. I don't want to remember nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. Like I woke up one day and I'm in some universe I don't understand where I can have 2.5 ounces of weed in my car, but I can't have 4 bottles of weed.
Yeah.
That to me is the bottom line. And the one thing I would want to put out there as a challenge is if you're going to call one of these representatives or if you're going to talk to somebody, give yourself 3 or 4 bullet points that you want to get across. Don't overwhelm them with too much information because you wouldn't want that either. And if somebody came to you with a ton of links, you may not be as receptive about it. But if you can say 1,300 people die every day from cigarette smoking, and 41,000 people die every year from secondhand smoke. There's never been a death associated with vaping when it's been used correctly. And if you can say it's 95% a healthier alternative than smoking cigarettes, if you can hit your bullet points that you want, because I think a lot of people, they'll get on the phone with the governor and they'll go, and they not know what to say. They know what they believe, but they don't know how to get it across. And I would strongly encourage you, even if you make yourself a little note card, and it will save you throughout your days, because somebody's going to walk up to you in the grocery store and see you got a vape shirt on and go, I've been hearing about that vaping thing. You need to know what you can get across to them in a quick 30 seconds that might help them to want to know more about vaping.
Right.
That want to educate themselves a little bit more about it. All these people die. There's never been any deaths from this. It's a much healthier alternative. And, it really does save lives. If you'd like to have some more information about it, if you have questions, please ask me, because I'd be more than happy to tell you.
Yeah. Here's my email. Shoot me an email, and I can send you articles if you want to look at them.
Because, Jay, you and I have research coming out our ears. Like, if somebody wanted to talk to us about vaping, we could sit there for hours and debate. I would love to sit across from a doctor and let them, and I just ask questions one after the other. Does it cause this? No. Does it cause that? No. What is there a problem with?
Yeah.
Nothing, really. Does chocolate contain formaldehyde? Yes. Does baby formula contain formaldehyde? Yes. Baby shampoo? Yes. White flour? Yes. Well, why is it so bad in vaping? It's not. It's just something that we can measure and scare you with.
Right. It's all scare tactics.
I mean, don't they even have like limitations for how much like bugs and rat feces and stuff can be in meat and it's still okay?
Yeah.
Those things never get brought up, when it comes to this. But if I heat a coil up to 9,000 degrees and it releases some heavy metals, then it must be bad for you, because we know we all vape at 9,000 degrees. Every time you get in your car and drive, you're breathing in heavy metals. I hate to tell you.
Yeah. Man, that'd be a hot vape at 9,000 degrees. I don't know if I can handle that. So, but
somebody'd still say it wasn't hot enough. But,
yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're at 9:30. We normally go till 9:30. So we'll probably cut it off here. But I want to thank everybody out there in the chat for coming and for tuning in. I hope you got some education out of this. I know we kind of went on rants and we kind of talked a lot, but we want to get all that information out there to you guys, so that way you can take that and run with it. That way hey, smoking kills 480,000 people a year. You may not have known that exact number until today. I know most people do, but you may not have. And that gives you more ammunition when people want to come against you simply because you are vaping. And if anybody that is that is a non-vapor, that wants information, my email is in the description. Please email me, ask any question. Jay and Anthony, I'm sure, can chime in on anything, and anything that you want all three of us to look at, please just send it. And that way, we can look at it and we can give you either if it's true, if it's not, here's the facts behind it. I want to debunk all these rumors that are out here, but we can only do it one at a time. That's the hard part for us. We can't take everything on at once. And I wish we could. I wish we had the manpower to do it. Somebody sends us something, hey, I've heard these 25 things, and I can turn around and send you an email back and say, no, here's 25 articles that debunk your 25 rumors.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the best thing in the world that we could do, but we're not at that point yet. So, but like I said, if anybody has a question, and if you need help with anything, if you need help, in your area or whatever, and we can do anything for you, please email me. I check that email every day. That's all that email's there for, is specifically for YouTube questions, anything like that. That's the only thing that goes to it. So, but thank you all for being here. And Anthony, thank you so much for coming. We love you coming on with us. Maybe we'll do it again soon. Who knows?
We'll give the people at home a coupon code. So if you go to thevapors1.com, that's VAPORS and the number 1, use coupon code WW15. It's good through the end of September. 15% off on the website for you guys. So use it before you lose it.
Yep. WW15. I will put that down in the description once we're done. and so that way it'll all be there. So appreciate you guys coming, and we'll see y'all next week. Actually, we'll see y'all Saturday
Yep.
for Weekend Wisdom.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, everybody have a good night and vape on, and always remember, let your voice be heard.
Deuces.